John McDonough, whose thrifty and canny ways brought him fortune early in the 19th century, lives on in the hearts of the children of his adopted Nouvelle Orleans. His legacy to them became the foundation of our public school system. But that was a long time ago, 100 years ago, and today there is no John McDonough. No, New Orleans has no John McDonough today, but we do have children. War babies, post-war babies. Innocent and eager, they look to us for their tomorrows and are unafraid. Each day, 70,000 of them move toward our public schools, an increase of 12,000 in the past 5 years. But what could we expect? Children and homes just naturally go together. New homes have been built by the thousands where there had been only vacant land. The New Orleans Chamber of Commerce reports that almost 25,000 new homes were built in the past 6 years. People were remaking our city map, creating great new neighborhoods one after another. In Gentilly, Lakeview, Lake Vista, toward the Jefferson Parish line, and across the river in Algiers. Along the waterfront, busy little tractors were symbols of growing trade through the port, money-making activity, but who can deny that just as surely they symbolized our future need for trained and educated men and women, whose brains and work will be vital to our city's economy in the years ahead. While the birth rate climbed and new neighborhoods stretched outward and port activity increased, the monotonous pounding of giant pile drivers set the tempo for a booming construction industry. Men and machines labored to catch up with the pent-up needs of a growing city. Huge new industries seemed to spring up almost overnight. We all looked at each other and at our city's changing skyline with pride and a little amazement. Towering new structures, office buildings became a part of our landscape. All this was reflected in our daily lives. In the morning, streets became rivers of rushing cars and crowded buses. From new neighborhoods and old, people poured into business districts and out to industrial sections. John McDonough would never recognize his beloved New Orleans, with everybody in a hurry, going places. Perhaps his greatest surprise would be the children going places too, crowding into a school system that had not opened a new school in 10 years before 1951. Their daily journey took them to schools which were run down, unsafe, insanitary. Schools where poorly paid teachers struggled with classes too large, while trying to make patience and ingenuity substitute for the basic tools of their profession. Only this, after a long ride on a bus. Other children walked long distances to go to school half days in a school like this, where the bad lighting made it impossible for the camera to catch the class in action. Waiting, they milled about on playgrounds pitifully small. Under these conditions, teachers faced the almost impossible task of maintaining discipline while trying to give their pupils basic knowledge and to create a love or even a liking for education. During the post-war period, headlines pointed up public school conditions. Mothers demanded action. Fathers of public school children, women's groups, teachers, civic clubs all talked and worked to create more interest in the problems of their public schools. Then McDonough 39 in Gentilly ushered in a new day. It became a symbol of other new schools to come. Grounds large enough for recreation, located away from heavy traffic but near a bus line, centered around the child's needs always, but designed as community centers too. You know, going to school and learning as a child's business is almost full-time business. Why should it not be carried on in safe, clean surroundings in the order and beauty so delightful to a child. Here is a classroom where the sun provides light at no charge, where the furniture can be moved around to fit the practical needs of the children and the teacher, where cross ventilation captures the stray breeze, where work tables and special equipment make both teaching and learning exciting and challenging, whether the child is slow and methodical or whether he is quick and easily bored. And in our new schools, things are built to fit you, scaled to your size. Pretty important if you're 6 or 8 years old in a grown-up's world. Out of New Orleans past with its courtyards and patios, outdoor classroom areas. Science and nature study are more interesting when a child can plant a seed and watch a bean or a petunia plant grow in the warm spring sun. Young appetites are hearty ones, and in a cafeteria like this, health lessons and table manners taught from books in the classroom are translated into practice. From spotless kitchens at the back are served well-balanced meals to establish better lifelong eating habits. Along entrance walls conforming to health department regulations are lavatories for scrubbing up. It's almost enough to make a fella like soap and water. And after lunch, well, who doesn't enjoy a little nap outdoors? Another feature, community use. Library shelves are a little bare now, but gradually, if and when the school system's operating budget permits, books will be added along with other badly needed teaching aids and supplies. Meanwhile, a group of mothers chat as they lend a hand, cataloging books. Often, adults find recreation and hobbies like this group, weaving baskets, in the school community centers. These things help tie the home, the family, and the school closer together to make a better city. While Mother learns basket weaving inside, Father gives advice on how to swat a homer outside on the playground. And the children acquire social graces. Well, anyway, they work off some of that surplus energy in a square dance outside. McDonough 39 could be only the barest beginning. The school board, facing mounting enrollments and rising building costs, realized that each building dollar had to be stretched to the maximum. Errors caught on maps and drawing boards are easily erased, but such mistakes carried over into badly located and poorly planned schools last for generations, costly and impossible to correct. To prevent such mistakes, the school board set up the Office of Planning and Construction. This office studied birth rates, population changes, land and building costs, and related factors. Then it recommended which of our existing schools should be renovated and where new ones should be built to best serve the entire community. Today, 3 new schools are completed, 8 are under construction. Meanwhile, new schools already completed, like this one in Lakeview, are helping solve the problem. Incidentally, it costs almost $30,000 to build one classroom today, and the average elementary school has about 20 classrooms. In addition, there is the cost of land, furniture, and other equipment. And faced as we are with the results of a half-century of indifference to the needs of our public schools, such schools as these are all too few. Sometimes new classrooms have to be added even before the new school itself is complete, so rapidly is enrollment growing. Still, there are heartening and visible signs of progress. The new makes an encouraging contrast with the old. Here in these architectural models of schools, we see why New Orleans, in its very real efforts to meet its school needs, has attracted national and even international attention. Like the other new schools, these provide natural lighting and flexible classrooms efficiently arranged. Your school board makes every possible effort to hold costs down, while recognizing that cheap construction and materials are more costly in the long run because they require constant and expensive maintenance. These schools, too, are designed to serve their communities, upgrading slum areas and fitting well into new neighborhoods. Obviously, New Orleans can be proud of its new schools. Here are the locations of 11 new schools to be completed by September 1955. New schools were not the only answer. Old schools were dangerous and dilapidated, but they could be modernized, made safe, sanitary, attractive, at a fraction of the cost of replacing them. And so began a tremendous renovation program. From basement to roof, bad conditions were corrected, broken windows replaced, drab walls painted, new equipment built, stairways enclosed to meet fire regulations, and all over New Orleans, people were asking each other, why are they painting the school doors red? It's a good question. The answer, a red door on a school is a trademark. It means that here is a school that is safe, clean, conveniently arranged, a better educational environment for our children. It means that sagging foundations were jacked up and tired old floors leveled and refinished, roofs repaired, cafeterias, sanitary facilities, and boilers brought up to health and safety standards, basements rearranged and brightened. At the peak of the program, in 52 working days, we were spending $65,000 a day in a tightly supervised and almost unbelievable effort to provide decent schools for our children. Here says the Red Door is a school you can be proud of. There are 38 such schools in New Orleans today, uptown, downtown, back of town, over the river. Today, behind the red doors, there is a new attitude on the part of children and teachers alike, an attitude of pride in well-lighted corridors where the children can display their works of art. And in classrooms behind the red doors, lessons in spelling and arithmetic become stimulating, with new or reconditioned furniture, adequate storage, bright colors, and window baffles to eliminate both glare and gloom. Enclosed stairwells would prevent a fire from sweeping unchecked through the building. Dingy lunchrooms have become clean, cheerful places where food is served under healthful conditions. Apart from new schools needed for new neighborhoods and renovation already accomplished, we still lack a final answer. Some of our schools are just too old. One was opened when James Buchanan, 15th President of the United States, occupied the White House. And 48 of them, more than half, were built before the automobile replaced the horse and buggy. Now imagine today's businessman working in an office designed and equipped for business as it was conducted in the 19th century or even in the days before World War I. Think of the housewife of today trying to cook a meal in a kitchen unchanged since the days of the bustle or the hobble skirt. Yet our children must go about their daily business of education in schools like these. And in schools like these, teachers must educate for living in the atomic age. Here inside the classrooms, these schools are no better. Discipline becomes more of a problem in an atmosphere of discomfort, boredom, and depression. And as the teacher spends more time in keeping order, so she is able to spend less time in teaching. Desks are immovable, whether they suit the needs of pupils and teachers or not, difficult to clean and maintain. Away from the windows, young eyes strain to see in the gloom. On the opposite side, they squint to make out classwork in the glare. Artificial light provided by outmoded fixtures is expensive and inadequate. So the renovation program must continue, plastering, new lighting, facelifting, rearranging, to meet the health requirements and modern educational needs. In this way, millions of dollars invested in schools can be protected by extending the lives of such buildings. Buildings, of course, cannot of themselves guarantee a good school system, but buildings are important at a time when children are attending school in the basement of a rented church building. And buildings are important when 8,500 children can go to school only half day. This is the platoon system, children waiting their chance to go to school. Hundreds of others roam the streets, potential or actual juvenile delinquents, a burden to the entire community. 8,500 children on platoon, 8,500 children shortchanged, still our enrollment going up and up and up. Buildings are important, but teachers are the heart and strength of any school system. If we fail to provide more teachers, the average class will increase to 38 pupils in 3 years, to 46 pupils in 5 years, and to an impossible 49 or more in 10 years. Financially, here is the picture. School income has gone up, to be sure, but the value of the dollar has gone way down, and prices have climbed sky high in the last decade. Buildings, more teachers, and what else is needed? Special classes like this one in corrective speech must be provided if our schools are to give all our children the opportunity to become useful and productive citizens. Children with reading problems must have special help. And who would deny the blind youngster his chance? Who would keep from him the mysteries of a wonderful world that can be opened to him only through Braille? Can we deprive those with failing eyesight? And what about those whose minds live in a crippled little body? Life today demands education in the sciences. Vocational training, vital to New Orleans' industrial future, requires materials and supplies to train those who will man our port and keep our new assembly lines moving as 20th century craftsmen. Today's tensions and the stepped-up tempo of living make physical education an essential part of the educational program for both boys and girls. To help provide strong bodies, we must provide equipment and facilities, whether they be field houses or playground equipment where our smaller ones combine healthful exercise and fun. Behind the scenes, we must keep our new and renovated buildings clean, keep them in good repair. What then shall we do? We must each of us find the answer within our own conscience. Shall we keep faith with the future, with schools like this? Or shall we rest content and uncaring with conditions like this, which in reality costs so much in future ignorance and crime and social ills? Shall we try to keep up with the need for more classrooms, more teachers, more equipment and supplies? Or shall we just let it go? If we really mean business, if we would keep faith with our children by dealing with our public school problems, then we must act today to meet the foreseeable needs of tomorrow. Your school board can give you the facts as they exist. The school board can suggest a plan of action. After that, it's up to you.